Oh, yes. One of my favorites that I've gotten a chance to work with and know in my 22-plus years in international football. I'm not just saying that because he's sitting in my right. Let's introduce Mike Pereira, former head of NFL refs and Fox Rules analyst.
You know that best word of that?
Former.
Yeah. It's great being
the former. Well, you're great at what you do, and I just have to, again, sing your praises that way and also step in whenever I think you need help. Fox Sports has got to do something a little bit better than this situation for you, Mike. To be very honest with you, I don't understand this. I took that shot off the screen. They got Tom and they got Kevin.
But I'm working.
You're time out.
I'm working.
Did you not eat your vegetables?
What kids table at Thanksgiving.
I was
what
put
is this,
on
Mike?
recess. I was on recess.
You're like baby in a corner. Like, what the hell?
I know. Look at that.
Didn't Brady and Kevin call you over and they even turned around and they're like, "Come on," and you're like, "No, I'm not getting out."
I'm getting older. It takes a long time to move around, so I didn't have a lot of time.
The heck.
More importantly, Mike, how's Tom look in person?
This guy. He's a big Brady.
Is he like everything that you
so
hoped and dreamed?
He's so buttoned up. He's like,
just get lost in those
he's
eyes.
like incredible. He really is, and you know
the answer to it. He's as handsome as ever, and he's as nice as ever.
Shredded. He can still play. Is he going to be quarterback for the Raiders?
He's much taller than I thought he was going to be.
By the way, you're not wrong.
He's very tall.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
he's like 6'4", 6'5", isn't he?
Big guy.
And I often get confused. Where did he go to college?
We don't talk about that.
No, we talk about it all the time.
We
talk about it all the time. See, Mike knows.
It's nice to be back here on this show.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It is nice to be back here.
It's good to have you back, man. You're looking good. And
there was no controversy this past week, so there's no reason for me to be here.
Get out of here.
You're to hang out.
I texted you. You actually texted me this week. Normally it's me texting you. You texted me, and I'm like, let's get you on here. And you're like, here you are, and it's fantastic. I'm very happy to have you here.
Well, when do you text me?
I text you all the time, Mike Pereira.
During the games.
During the games. I'm like, is this right? Because I.
And when do I answer, Rich Eisen?
Immediately, you answer me. On the spot. And this is neat. Again, Mike Pereira here on The Rich Eisen Show. I'm back on The Rich Eisen Show Radio Network, sitting at the Rich Eisen Show desk, furnished by Grainger with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger has the right product for you. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. When NFL Network began in the fall of 2003, the head of NFL refs came on NFL Total Access every single week, and we chopped it up. And I would push you, and you would push back, and it was great segments, great television, Mike Pereira, and you are terrific at what you do and explaining rules and things of that nature and giving the officiating point of view. How does it sit with you when you hear the national conversation that the officials are in the Chiefs' pocket and that they are making calls on Mahomes or for Mahomes that they would not call for other quarterbacks? How does that sit with you when you hear that?
Well, it doesn't resonate with me at all. And because not only was I head of the department for 12 years, but I was actually on the field for a couple years. And the fact that you're looking out for anyone, any team, any individual is a myth. It is an absolute myth. You don't have time to react and say, this is Goff. I'm not going to call this because it's Goff. This is Mahomes. I'm got to call this because it's Mahomes. This is Rice. I remember when I got hired by the NFL, my dad's first thing he said to me was, don't screw the 49ers. and I said, Dad, how am I going to screw the 49ers? He said, well, if Rice gets them, make sure it's a catch on the sideline. And I'm like, Dad, it is literally boom, boom. You don't have time. Mm-hmm. You don't have time to process. It's like 1/26th of a second. You have to see a flash and then make a determination. And you don't have time. And the other thing is, you don't want to get fired. You just want to be right. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the other myth, the makeup call. A makeup call. So even if I knew I was wrong with the call I made, if I make another bad one to make up for the other team, I'm done. I mean, I'm probably out of playoff contentions with two mistakes in one game. So it doesn't bother me because those people that say that don't know a damn thing about officiating. And until you actually put the uniform on, and until you have to make those quick judgments, and that includes people in the media who can be quick to criticize. If you haven't done it and you don't recognize how hard it is in real time and how easy it is in super slow motion, then get out of my train, get off my train. I mean, period. That's why. Does it anger me? No, I don't think it really angers me. It just kind of validates my point that people don't understand how difficult it is.
Well, that's why I wanted to start with this conversation, because our conversation this way, because that's the national conversation coming out of Chiefs and Texans, coming off of 2 calls. One in which Mahomes gets to stay on the field because Will Anderson is called for roughing. And another one where Mahomes is, as Troy Aikman described it, playing games with the defense by staying in bounds and then moving back into the field to slide. 2 Texans collide with each other, and they're called for colliding into each other, essentially. Should those penalties have been called, in your estimation?
No, I don't think they should have been. I mean, I look at the game and I judge things a little bit differently, and it probably wouldn't make sense to anybody. But I used to grade officials, so I would grade them.
Right.
And if they made a call they shouldn't have made, you get what's called an incorrect call, which is very difficult. And then, I look at things and say no calls. That's when you pass on something. And if you pass on something that you should have called, then you get what's called a no call. Both of those, in my opinion, should have been passed on. I understand why they were called, because we are in a time of protection of quarterbacks and pretty much everybody. But when the league came out and said they defended them, right? They did say they defended both calls. That doesn't mean they wanted them called.
So then they're defending it just because why? I mean,
they defend it because, you and I went through this thing. I mean, I probably bent over backwards because they were my people to defend it. And technically, it could be a foul. But in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, while I see it's there is some contact, high contact on the roughing the passer one. Was it like forcible? No, it really wasn't forcible enough. I see why it was called. It's certainly not, a phantom. And in the other one, maybe a little contact, but it's not. Listen, if you were, in my opinion,
yes,
if I was sitting with Walt Anderson and he and I were having a beer, if he and I were having a vodka,
nice.
Actually, I think he would say to me, we actually would have preferred, even though technically it's a foul, that it wasn't called.
Well, and I understand why the league wants to, make sure that their referees are defended. I understand that. But if they don't want the penalties to be called, for them to come out and say they should have been called really undercuts the relationship with fans, to be straight up with you. And that then calls into question the next time these calls happen again, that, the league must want them called. Yeah. And the league behind the scenes doesn't, which leads me to wonder, why aren't we using replay assist for this sort of stuff? And I know that is something that's stuck in your craw because you think it's used too much as a crutch, and that actually leads to poor live officiating. I know what you've said in the past about it.
Yes, you've listened to what I've said in the past.
I always listen to what you say, Mike. You make me smarter. But if replay assist can see it, and we can see it at home, I always hearken back to the first ever NFL Network owners meeting that we covered when replay was made permanent. You were in the room when the vote went down, and Charlie Casserly of the Texans, who was with the competition committee, basically told the owners, if people can see it at home, we've got to use it. What gives here?
Look, you know my feeling, but I don't think it's a good thing for the actual officials on the field. I've said that before. You know that. Okay. However, we're going down this road so far now that even this year, when you look at the roughing the passer, if it's called a hit to the head or neck area, if there's no contact, if there's absolutely no contact, replay can take it off. Okay? That's now in place. Same way with hits on defenseless receivers. Same way they can take it off. And when I've talked to them, you know, they say this is part of the thing we're making a move. We can, if something's called, we can get involved and we can take it off. The problem is mostly like when we think about the face mask situation, it's what's not called that gives just as much angst as what is called.
Right. The problem with that is you're not going to have somebody who's not on the field put a flag down.
Well, why? Come on. I mean, you know, I change all the time. I'm changing a little bit now.
You are.
Look what we're doing. Look what we're doing in the Spring Football League. Okay, what are we doing in the Spring Football League?
You tell me.
Okay, and I'll premise it by saying it works. So call it whatever you want. Call it the Sky Judge or whatever. The Sky Judge who's positioned in his own booth, who has his own equipment. When it comes to player safety, excuse me, I keep banging the microphone.
All good.
When it comes to player safety,
Microphone safety.
What can that Sky Judge do, or whatever you name that person? When it comes to player safety, he can put on fouls or he can take off fouls. So in the spirit of player safety, he can call them, he can pick them up. He can throw the flag from Los Angeles, no matter where we're playing the game, but he can throw the flag. And in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, that guy, who I think is probably in the United Football League the most powerful person, in the last 5 minutes, he can call anything. And we can even, this year, we're going to give a second super challenge to a coach, and he can challenge anything. So we're taking it to the nth level. And
does it slow anything down? Does it slow anything down?
Hell no. That guy that's in the studio that's making the decision, that ref, we call him a ref, you know, he makes the decision so quickly that it just almost like it's seamless. Like,
so why won't this be brought to the NFL?
Well, it's going to be brought to the NFL
Why won't
because
it be
they're going to see it again this year. They're going to see it again.
Who's they? Competition committee?
Sure they are.
Who's
sure
they?
They are.
No. Who's they? Competition committee?
Yeah.
Is it Troy Vincent? Give me.
Sure. I mean, they even sent some people in last year, you know, to watch it, you know, to see how we do things with some of our technology and stuff. It's going to be there for everybody to see. And the notion of how is it going to be accepted, or how is it accepted by the fans? Very positive. I mean, that guy, it's pretty interesting. When he's reviewing the play to make his decision, guess what? It's on the scoreboard in the stadium. And it's on the loudspeaker system. So they not only see inside the replay booth, but they hear what's being said.
You're saying that's going to happen in the National Football League?
I'm just saying they're creeping toward that direction.
Well, what?
You know,
well, that's the issue. It's like a tanker moving around in the NFL. It takes forever.
You can't take that hit on Jared Goff. You can't take that hit and somehow not be able to put that on.
You're talking about on the pick six where Luvo hit him in the chops. You chimed in during the game that should have been a 15-yarder.
And you know, the thing is, it's the rule of the game. On a interception, the passer gets protection all the way through the down. Even if he pursues it. Same way with the kicker. Kicker gets protection. He's also, you know, considered defensive throughout the entire down.
So how does this work again? Because again, you know, this is not a slight on the Spring League at all. Please don't take this as a slight, which means now I'm allowed to slight it. No, this is not a slight.
Just, you know, if you're going to slight that guy making the decisions.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that the ratings for that game, not even close to the NFC divisional round.
Sure.
And the amount of money gambled on it by sports fans, not even close.
Yeah.
So the fact that fans love it, you know, that's one thing that they buy it in this construct. I'm just saying, how does that work in the NFL? Where how long does the Sky Judge take? How long do I as a fan need to pay attention, or how long do I need to keep my guard up that the play I've just seen that does not have a flag thrown on the field, that somebody, I don't know where this person is, who this person is, I don't know where they are located, they've put a flag down. Now, how long till I have to get through that play?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you could certainly before the next snap.
Obviously,
but remember now, you don't even have to wait. You don't have to wait for television to show replays. You have a setup that probably has 16 different camera angles. that all you do is punch a button and it takes you right to that camera angle. You can see things very quickly, which is what they do now on the assist. That's really what they do on the replay assist. So if they can get it done, in the first essentially 20 seconds, if they can see it, then they can make a decision. That happens a lot, by the way. You don't see it.
Do you do this in the spring league for holding and defensive pass interference and OPI? And you do it for everything?
We could do it for anything in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. We can just do player safety fouls in the rest of the game. And by the way, that guy who I call him the God. He's the football god in the UFL. That's either Blandino or me.
Okay, I was picking up that you were referring to this person as God.
It's either Dean or myself, and but it works. It works, and it's gonna just keep going further and further in that direction.
So the Super Bowl 59 referee, you will be in the booth for Fox calling this game. It's Ron Torbert.
Is that right?
He was just named. Did you not know this? Am I breaking news to you?
No, I lost. My pick was not.
What do you mean your pick?
I lost.
I lost. That wasn't.
Who did you think it was going to be?
Referee pool.
I thought it was Sean Smith. I thought it was going to be Sean Smith. Can I see that again?
Sure, pop it up one more time.
You put that? Max Causey, Mark Stewart, Merle Robinson, Jonah Moore, Kevin Brown,
Boris Cheek. I hope
Boris Cheek.
Great name. I had not even heard that name. Does he turn? Does he turn well?
He
when he's being yelled at.
He's got solid cheeks.
And
he's been in the league for he was just in our game.
So does this mean Ron Torbert had the best clean sheet in the NFL? Is that what that means?
I can't say how they do it now. I still look at that and marvel at the fact that it doesn't seem like I've been out of the league that long, but only two of those guys I hired. Man, it's just
turnover,
I've been away, man. Turnover.
Yeah. So what's your 2 cents when you see Ron Torbert?
I love Ron Torbert. He's such a smart guy. He's out of the old attorney school,
Okay.
And we just had him. Hopefully, in Detroit, if you heard, hopefully he gets over the frog that he had in his throat.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
right.
So hope he's got a little clearer voice for the Super Bowl. But he's terrific and represents the league really, really well.
Okay. So, but is that he had the fewest mistakes? Is that what the crew?
Rich, it's like there are tiers set up in the rating system.
Yes.
So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. If you finish high enough where you reach the standard of tier 1, then you actually do go into a rotation type system. Yes. So if you're tier 1, and there may be somebody in front of you that has already had the game,
yes,
you could, since you've not had it, you could move to the top spot. So I think it's fair, because if you reach tier 1, then anybody should be able to work that game at that level. I'm a crew guy, so that's like another whole subject, but
which is bringing together a whole new crew for the biggest game that there is.
This is bringing together a bunch of different people.
So what do they now get on Zooms every week now? I'm serious.
Oh yeah, they'll drill them.
Every day now.
They'll drill them. Sure, they'll be.
Like what happened? What do you mean?
They'll be looking at video. They'll be looking at video, of the teams, after we get through this weekend.
Yes.
And doing that, but it's still, you have a lot of new people on there. So there's people that have not worked with each other over the course of, let's say, 15, 20 years. So there's some adjustments there, but, they'll be prepared. It's a hard game to work. And it's not just because of the teams and the pressure. It's the fact that it's unlike any regular season or other playoff game, in that your family's there. This is the thing you've lived for all your life. You've worked for as an official to get the Super Bowl. And so now it's a celebration too. So you bring your aunts and your uncles and your wives and your kids. And the interesting thing is that they don't do this for the money in the Super Bowl. They could care less. Matter of fact, they have to fly all their family. They ends up costing money. But just like a player,
they get a ring?
They get a ring.
No, I didn't know that.
They get a ring.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what everybody,
I knew they didn't do it for the money, but I also didn't know they do it for the Chiefs too, Mike.
Hurtful.
Is this thing on?
I thought you'd give me a rule.
That one was for you, Chris.
Wow.
Was that one?
I don't think that whatsoever. The Chiefs are wonderful.
I'm just kidding, obviously. Before I let you go, I need a name. I demand a name from you, Mike Pereira. When you were the head of NFL refs and you go to work on a Monday morning and somebody placed a call sheet in front of you, who's the coach on that call sheet that you were just like, oh no, I don't want to talk to this person. I know they're going to say this to me. But who was that coach on the call sheet back in the day, Mike?
There was one that had the ability to really get off quickly and loudly, and was hard for me first thing Monday morning. And his name was John Fox, actually.
Really?
And
I wasn't going to guess that.
He could go off, and I shouldn't say this, but I really don't care anymore. But he had an assistant who I loved. Her name was Linda O'Hara.
Okay.
And I would talk with Linda, and when I went to Carolina, I would stop by and talk to Linda. And I would tell her of my frustration. So it got to the point where John would walk in on Monday morning, and he would immediately yell at Linda, "Get Pereira on the phone now!" And she would go, "Got it." And she would click into the phone.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't call my number. She'd call a phony number and then go, "Oh, well, he's not in yet. When do you expect him in?"
No way.
He should be in by noon. Okay. Well, would you have him called by noon? At noon. Okay. Well, by then John was settled down. He wasn't so. It was like of all the people, like Linda O'Hara, love you wherever you are now.
She would create a buffer zone, huh?
Yeah, it was either Fox or Amy Trask back in the Raiders.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Trask.
Amy Trask. Who was
standing by.
She was I will tell one quick story about Amy. Sure. She was the queen of the texts. So anytime a call went against the Raiders, we had a stopwatch in our command center, and we'd go click, and we'd start, and we'd watch the 5, 6, 7, ping, and it was Amy. That was an awful call. What was that? So that was the Amy, but she was obviously Amy and I.
Yes.
Had the true definition of a love-hate relationship, right?
Well, it's
yeah, that's right.
It's kind of crazy though, text, more of an email person now. I don't know. She's graduated to a different electronic
Emails
communication.
Took too long. She had to get to me quicker.
Oh my gosh. I would have thought it would be Belichick. No? Bill was not?
No, Belichick, I had really a great relationship with him, and because he wasn't a BSer. He told you what he thought, and if you didn't agree, then we would just agree to disagree. But I kind of lost him. I lost him, over Deflategate actually, and really Spygate was the other one, because I think he thought I was in some way responsible, which I wasn't. But I know that when the video came in, everybody came into my office and they looked at it in my office, and I felt like our relationship kind of dissipated after that, and so I really didn't have much communication with him after that. But prior to that, I really enjoyed the relationship with him. Well,
you work with a guy who can maybe broker some peace. So say hi to Tom, say hi to Kevin Burkhardt, two Aces individuals.
I will.
And tell them to get you out of the corner, man. I don't know what that is.
I'm getting out of the corner. If I don't get out of the damn corner in the Super Bowl, I'm going to be.
Come on now.
Mad.
I mean, if they pop you on camera and 100 million people are watching, get up out of the chair and stand next to Tom Brady.
At least I'm going to turn and face the camera. I'll at least do that.
Look at
and you know what I'll do? I'll just do, hey, this will be it. Okay, because in this industry, and especially in officiating, we all had this. When you were officiating as a referee, you had a signal. You give a signal, and it might be this, or it might be this. And that was like, you do it so indiscreetly, but that's like to say hi to your wife.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'll come up with something, and with your growth, maybe I'll just do this and something,
and it'll be for me,
and that'll be for Rich Eisen. Hi, Rich.
Ladies and gentlemen,
send me a text.
Please say that out loud during the Super Bowl. Mike Pereira, everybody from Fox Sports, you're the best, man. Great to see you.
Nice to see
Great
you.
to see you. Let's get baby out of the corner next time, okay? Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.